So, hey guys, Chauzu here. So we finally have the Datamine ahead of the 10th anniversary. It's not really properly compiled yet. I don't really mind, we got a lot of info and hopefully we'll get a data download soon so we can actually check in-game because that's how I prefer doing it than looking at Discord and stuff. But I thought, let's make one video with it, just go through everything. You guys can pause and look if you want, or you can just join the subreddit Discord server if you feel like it. But yeah, they've added titles for the Blitz battle. Looks like it will be against Roger. And we also have the new Grand Party because I think I talked about this, but for some reason they thought it was a good idea that of almost to run one extra time for Annie, it's going to be the fan favorite Grand Party. Like for me, that's just so dumb. I have no idea what they're thinking with that. Like it's anniversary, we get the 10th Annie Super Sugos, we get the co-op mode. What do we lack? Yeah, we need some Grand Party as well. Like, no, we don't need Grand Party. Anyway, looks like Lucci is going to be the next 6+ of the month. So we should get his 6+ for the Kisnas. That's pretty predictable, I'd say, considering what's happening in Egghead. We also have a big Mellow Shop update. It's a lot larger than usual, but it's just as bad as usual at least as well. I have no idea why they continue to insist that the Mellow Shop is so bad. Like everything is 400 medals or above. Like it's just not worth buying. Maybe if you lack some level limit break on specific units or such, like for example for me with Magellan, like it looks like we have V1 Magellan here, so I could buy one to finish him, but I know I'll pull a dupe eventually, maybe even this month. So for 100 medals, we have all of the old Annie rear recruits. The one you really want to get there is the Chopper. He has a really good support. Nami also has a support, but not as unique. And well, like the Reiju is a good unit, the Rebecca is a good unit. The others aren't really that great, but you should probably pick those two up as well. They also add alternating pen. You should definitely not buy that. Yes, they are overvaluing that alternating pen so much. Like if we're talking competitive value, it is super limited. It's basically, like I mentioned last time, for treasure map, you can run one extra boosted legend if you pull a dupe of Shanks for this time. For example, if you pull 2 Shanks and have the alternating pens, you can run 2 Shanks for treasure map. That's it. Also Grand Party, if there's some busted alternative art unit, you could run 2 of them, but I don't think Shanks, for example, upcoming Shanks is that great in Grand Party, so you're not going to want to run 2 of him. They also added the Legend Wonder Posters back, 800 medals though, that's not very great. Maybe I buy some, it's hard to decide right now, but I'll probably buy some of them for the one I lack a bit, but most people shouldn't buy those. Especially not the rear limit break, this is for rear recruits. Like if that's just one, that's like the worst deal imaginable, since we can buy 3 of those for each color with gems. So yeah. I also want to add that there's a raid shop update I've heard, but it's not in the news. Apparently we're getting able to buy one of each potential ability, like the big ones, Final Tap, Super Tandem Rush. And it's going to be 50 gems for one of each, I think. So that's definitely something to consider. I'll definitely buy one of each. And yeah, up to you guys how you value it. I think everybody should at least get a Super Tandem one, since those are always valuable. Final Tap Rush are a bit of a whatever most of the time. Also a friend in my campaign, but not much to talk about there. Let's go through all of the new unit info. There's a lot of new units and some other exciting stuff. So these are all of the icons. We see that they're adding a lot of the Egghead Straw Hats. So Robin, Sanji, Luffy, Jinbei, Zoro, and Nami. And yeah, we'll talk more about those. We also have a Yamato 5-star and 5+. We don't currently know how this Yamato ties into things. Like, where do we get Yamato? I'd presume maybe Yamato is tied to the co-op, the Grand Feast Sugo Fest maybe. That's just my guess. We'll have to wait and see, I think. And we also have the skulls for Luffy 6+. So yeah, those are the icons. We also have the parts of the Sugos added, but not much info right now. But basically it's going to be 6 parts. Part 1 has everything with an asterisk, maybe not all of the Egghead re-recruits, because it looks like Robin and Jinbei will be for Treasure Map on part 6. We'll get back to that. But yeah, part 1, everything. Part 2 will be the Anni Luffy, the Int Luffy. Part 3, Shanks. Part 4, Ace. Part 5, Roger. And then part 6 will be for 6+ Luffy, and it looks like this one will be for the treasure map. So there's been a lot of debate of like, will the 6+ Luffy be the main booster for treasure map? Will we even be able to get his skulls? And like, we have to wait and see. Like, we've never really been screwed over like that, like having to pull a 6+, for example. I can't see that happening. So I'd sit calm in the boat for now and wait and see. But it looks like Robin and Jinbei might debut on the treasure map Sugo, or whatever to call it, with the 6+ Luffy. That Sugo also has some treasure map units like Green Bull and such. So probably no treasure map units on the other parts, which is a shame, since before the 9th Anni for a few years we usually had the Anni Sugo also be a treasure map Sugo, but now they probably still split it up. But still doesn't really detract much from the hype for me, but it has for some. Like, personally speaking, I'm perfectly fine to skip a treasure map Sugo. Like, Annie is not the time to go hard in treasure map. It's always insane. So I'm happy to just settle for a top 500 in treasure map. Shouldn't be too bad. One really cool thing is that they're adding level limit break to old Super Sugos. So first is Luffy, and he got a really good buff. I'll talk more about all of this in a dedicated video. I hate to read on Discord, but basically they added an ability to this Luffy as captain. That's stage 2. He changes all slots to recovery, and as a sub, he gives full board of recovery at start of the quest. And this helps his special a lot, since if you collect 12 or more recovery or tandem orbs, you get double special. And Luffy, with level limit break, always gave attack and orb boost. That's very cool. He can also apply burnout to full immunity. I don't think he gives a burn conditional though, which is a shame. He also has some utility added in removing burn and slot bind by 7 turns. That's pretty cool. I like this buff personally. I will say that all of these buffs are level limit break 3, which is cool. For level limit break 3, you need just 4 dupes, which is a lot more manageable than 9 dupes. So hopefully a lot more people can enjoy these level limit break. Weavon Oden also got a level limit break. Can get up to 6 times attack now in his captain. It's cool. They have a new ability to Oden that reduces all enemies' damage reduction from certain slot effects duration by 6 turns. This is the new ability where the enemy says, for example, if you have honor orbs, you do less damage. So that's pretty cool. It's a very new mechanic. They also added some final tap damage to Oden. Not sure if Oden changed block orbs before, but it does now at least. I think his PvP buffs aren't that big, but of course it's still very much meta in PvP, so any small buff is appreciated. We also had some info on the 6+ Luffy, and sadly it's not great news. They basically decided that the 6+ Luffy here is a psi grade, which usually is great. Like, remember Bonnie, amazing psi grade, but the thing that made Bonnie amazing is that not only was it a psi grade, but it was a psi grade of a buffed Bonnie. So first, the 6-star Bonnie got a big buff with level limit break, and that buffed Bonnie got a psi grade. But what happened now is that basically we're not getting a buff to the OG Luffy, from what I can see. So the 6+ is a psi grade of a 2-year-old Luffy, and he's not substantially buffed. So it means that he kind of releases into, not obscurity, but he's not as good as you'd expect a 6+ Super Sugo to be. But he does have some uses. I'll probably talk more about him later. But the psi grade thing mainly is that he's an attack booster instead of orb booster. They've also changed his superclass to EX. So sometimes you can't run the EX, for example, but you could be able to run a superclass. The effect is stronger, of course, so that's good. They've changed his super tandem in a good way. They've added more units, and before you had to have a Zoro or a Sanji, now you can also have an Ace. And obviously this is going to pair pretty well with the Super Sugo Ace, who does a big orb boost, and this Luffy can do a big attack boost. So that's probably the main reason they did a psi grade in the first place. And it's also a psi grade in PvP, and in PvP it's probably a straight nerf, unless fighter teams become meta, like Luffy can help fighters a lot, since this Luffy is basically a fully fledged fighter now. So it's basically the same as the old Dex Luffy in PvP, but everything is for fighter now. So I think that's pretty sensible. Personally, I'm not upset about this at all. But it does mean that if you want to keep using the old Luffy index teams, you will need to own 2 copies due to the psi grade thing. Luckily enough, I have my Luffy at level limit break 150, and I have 1 dupe, so I'm set. But the question is, like, who do you keep at level 150 for me? Is it the 6-star or the 6+? I'll probably go with the 6+, but it might not be the right decision. Level limit break for Yamato, both the 6+ and 6-star. The biggest buff for Yamato is that she can now go through full immunity for increased damage taken, which will help her viability a lot. Same goes for the 6-star Yamato. We have the 5+ Yamato. I don't feel like talking much about this unit until we know more, but up to 5 times attacking captain and can resist the spear is pretty nice. Also double special and has a super tandem. And a pretty cool support where you can apply increased damage taken. I'm not going to talk about the rare recruits, I think, but it's kind of weird that these units, at least Zoro and Sanji, what I saw, can only use their special 2 times. And it doesn't look like it's such great specials. Like, it sounds like a needless mechanic to add just to make them worse, but sure. Same for Nami as well. I don't know why they're doing this, but yeah. Not for Robin, but for the others. Which might make sense, because as said, it looks like Robin and Jinbei will be for the treasure map mainly. And I think this Luffy was going to be for the Blitz. Pretty cool. It seems like they designed him to be captain, which is kind of weird since he's a free-to-play. But basically, as a captain, you can use the super type to get a big color affinity. You can get a low attack and ore boost, use the special. You buff the attack and ore boost 2.25 times, or 2.5 times even. So in that way, you get a lot of damage. That's cool, but you won't really use this unit a lot as captain. That's just how it is. Also a cool experience item to get. 100 million experience. I'm trying to wrap my head around how much that is, but I'll happily take a lot. If it's just one, it's probably whatever. If we can get a lot of them, sure. Lots of experience, always good. But yeah, that's all of the data mines so far. Probably going to be more. And soon we should get the official announcement as well, which is exciting, of course. But yeah, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.